Hello. Oh, and hello, captions. Welcome to the Inspector Zone. I'm Science Bird, and here are my other players. I think we'll go in order of Discord names from the top.
Oh, wow, that makes me next. All right, hi, I'm Sean. I use they, them pronouns. Ready to be a bunch of different monsters.
I am Space. I use they, she pronouns. Not ready to be
Oh.
monsters.
And I'm Xander or Septimus. I use they, he pronouns.
I forgot. I use they, them pronouns. If you have been here for a while, this is the third day of this. You may already know that we are streaming, for Black and Pink National, the prison abolitionist group, which makes me very happy because we already had a vote for the last time if we should give them our money for the games bundle, and they almost won then. This time they won with a wide margin. So I'm very happy that we are supporting them this time with so many votes. You probably heard a lot about them already. I'm not going to talk so much about them, but if you are in favor of the rights of trans people, of LGBTQIA, 2S plus people, of people living with HIV or AIDS, who are in prison, then maybe you should give us some money, because we're going to give that money to them. And for the next few hours, we're going to play The Inspectors Are In, which is a game I wrote a few months ago, which is themed around an inspection of a standard fantasy dungeon, which will likely not hold up to the standards set. Because, as you know, most dungeons are not safe, and in most dungeons, the working conditions are not acceptable. So, as you can see, some of our players are going to be inspectors, and some of our players are going to be the dungeon and the people in the dungeon. We're going to go just through our game document from the top. You can't see the game document, that's fine. And you're just going to see our notes, which would be on paper if this were a paper game. Currently, there's a lot of lorem ipsum here, just so you see anything, and we'll replace that over time. But mostly you don't need to look much at our notes. That's just so we know what people are called in the game. We have all read the document before, so we're not going to read all of the details in here. We are just going to go through the main points, I think. For example, the materials we can skip. But I think we should start with order of play. Would someone like to read out order of play for us?
I can, if no one else wants to. If this is your first time with the game, you may want to skim through the whole document. At least once as a group, so you know what to expect. After that, just read each page out loud to the group as you go along. After choosing where does the power come from as a group, players can decide who among them will be the inspectors and who plays the dungeon side. Being an inspector gives you more structure to hold on to in the form of checklists and questions to ask. Dungeon players are almost unrestrained and can improvise freely. When the inspectors fill out their profile page, the dungeon can plan what nature of the dungeon is by thinking of past stories you've played together or by using a dungeon generator. If you're a very small team or would like to get everyone involved, just wait for the inspectors to join you. Dungeon players shouldn't spend a long time to prepare characters to play and need not write anything down. When the game starts fully, just make up a little guy and start talking about or as them. Their personality and their life will emerge out of the exchange. After entering the dungeon, spend 2 to 4 scenes with different workers and problems inside. Check ending the game to decide whether you want to move on to possibly the final scene inside the dungeon and or handing out the report.
Yeah, that's just for the structure. So we will decide where the power of the inspectors comes from. Then the inspector players make their inspectors, while the dungeon players generate a dungeon. Then you enter the dungeon. The main part of the game happens, and when we feel like it, we'll end the game. That's going to be our structure today. The game does not have mechanics. There are no dice or numbers. This is purely an improvisational game where people answer when they feel like it. It's just a dialogue game. I don't want to read out all of the pages, but I think we need to read out where does their power come from.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else, maybe?
I can go for that. Where does their power come from? Before any other step, players need to decide cooperatively what the source of the inspector's authority and power is. Here are some examples. There is a powerful god that operates outside the system. It may not be able to rule the world, but it can impose its will on specific places by sending an avatar. The inspectors are not bound by the limits of this world. They may be universal auditors, a force for order and fairness, or simply ascended adventurers. There is a contract. Either the boss of this place or their boss signed it. Is this a form of magical housing corporation renting out vampire castles, or a source of power that always had specific demands, which the boss simply didn't take seriously until now? The revolution has happened, and now it has reached the dungeon. The balance of power out there has shifted. There is still an interest in adventure and exploration, but it won't be done on the backs of workers anymore. And the inspectors are agents of narrative, existing inside the story but making demands for the plot, demanding that the writer of the story explain themselves. In this metatextual version, the inspectors may end up arguing with the game master player about the quality of this dungeon instead of just the dungeon's boss. The option you choose will inform the general tone and direction of the inspection and the inspectors, as well as what the dungeon dwellers are expecting.
This decision obviously will vastly, inform everything else we do. So we gotta have a vote on this.
I personally would be cool with any of these. I think the renting out the vampire castle one is a little bit funny.
That's the one I think is a lot of fun too.
So there is a contract.
Yeah, and the inspectors are sort of are the enforcers of those contracts. Not enforcers, but they're involved in the maintaining of those contracts.
Is there any disagreement with this one?
No, I'm into it.
Okay, I'll quickly read this one out again. There is a contract. Either the boss of this place or their boss signed it. Is this a form of magical housing corporation, renting out vampire castles, or a source of power that always had specific demands, which the boss simply didn't take seriously until now? I'll take note of that somewhere, and we can just move on. The inspectors have a page one below this that just asks you a bunch of questions, and usually you would have this printed out and could just fill it out. Instead, you can fill this out on our Google Doc here, and replace the words here as you like. And the dungeon players can go one page further and think about generating a dungeon. So, Inspector players will be a bit more silent, I guess, for a moment, while we dungeon players think about generating. And when you feel done, Inspectors, you can also help us generate a dungeon.
Sounds good. For these notes, I will take the top Inspector here.
All right. I'll read out generating a dungeon for Sean and me, because we are the dungeon. If you would like to make up your own dungeon, you're free to go about it any way you like. The following tool is meant to simplify the process. Please don't limit yourself to the words or ideas in here. Use them merely as a springboard. If possible, keep the dungeon generation relatively brief, or certain kinds of players may get lost in just this aspect of the game. I am looking at basically everyone in here and in chat. I know you all. And then there is, there's always a phrase that begins with the dungeon is a ... Continuing with, for example, a train and train station, castle, arena, library, cave system, factory, mansion, ship, magic tree, graveyard, citadel, cities underground, huge skeleton, bandit hideout, enchanted tower, mech. I will not read out all of these options every time. But what do you feel about this, Sean? We get first pickings while the inspectors are busy.
Well, it seems like the inspectors are expecting this to be a vampire castle. What if it was like a vampire castle, but it got altered in like a way to be one of these other things that is probably not easily fixed? Like if we combined we just grew like whoever the boss is just grew a big old magic tree in the middle of this castle and ruined the structure of it, or turn it back or something.
You mean that is not how it was delivered originally?
Yeah, it's like you move into an apartment and then you add or break down a wall or something, except in a much more extreme way.
Yeah. What if we installed a lot of mechanical things? What if we installed that one level from Dishonored 2 in the castle? The Clockwork Mansion.
Oh, yeah. The bathroom is always supposed to be on the second floor. You cannot move it like you're doing right now. Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay, we're going with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write that down. Unusually, the place, and then, again, I'm not reading out all of the features here. We have them in front of us, and we will think about these instead of spamming you with audio.
Well, we kind of have rooms rearranged themselves already.
You mean you offered a tree? What if it is overgrown?
Yeah. I like that.
Many of the staff are. some of these options are annoyed cat boys, gargoyles, shadow people, various peoples, various demons, and Saint Bernards.
I like stuff. I mean, it already isn't like limiting us entirely by saying it's many of the staff, but I do like the more like ones that can be generalized. Like you can have skeletons of any type, you can have gargoyles of any shape. Same with were animals. My eyes did drift to annoyed catboys for some reason, as it seems yours did too. So I'm starting to think of them.
Yeah, when you start with a vampire castle, then basically everything in here just makes sense because it's all Castlevania things.
Yep. Are any taking your eye?
You know, when I wrote this originally, I just wrote Lesser Immortals and was like, I don't know what that is.
Sure.
I don't know what that means. We can just say that and explore it later.
Yeah. I like that. I like that open space. And then still, like, if we want to throw in any of these other things, they could just be the rare staff member that is, or whatever else.
Things here are going wrong, especially because of
The thing that tickled me the most was wrong approaches to improve team morale. But I'm not really against any of these.
yeah, we can have multiple of these.
Yeah.
And what about long-term use of the overdrive mode?
Yeah, I was about to shout that one out too.
Since this place already has machinery in it that shouldn't be in here.
Yep.
And what do we want to call this?
Hmm.
Names are hard.
I'm proposing the erstwhile Dark Lord's Castle.
Ooh.
Was that erstwhile Dark Lord's Castle?
Yeah.
Alright. Is that the official name on the sign? Yeah. the current Dark Lord can afford to have real, like, full-fledged immortals on their staff.
Dang.
Yeah, that's, you know.
Yeah, feel free to correct my spelling of this word that I just spontaneously.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
The current one can get proper immortals. I now know why this one is the former one.
Yep, that's...
Okay, then we have generated a dungeon. What's the status on the inspectors?
I think I'm good. Unless I'm missing
I
something.
think I'm also good. Yeah.
Then feel free to tell us about them, and we'll ask questions if we have any.
I can start. So, my inspector is Silas. He, him. I think Silas is like a a a tiny goblin man, like I don't know, 4 foot something, in a nice suit, big hat. Very well kept. For the inspector type, they are the auditor, scary to even liches, endless piercing eye contact, and never loses their temper. Very, very serious and very cold. Yeah, that's what I have for now.
Yeah, feel free to write down the goblin.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And feel free to delete all the placeholder text now that we have written anything else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I may have. He has only read the report and like was aware of like the shifting situation going on here, so kind of only skimmed it. Like this isn't even gonna be fucking useful when I get there, is it?
And there's Salvatore.
Yeah. So my inspector is Salvatore, or yeah, who uses they them pronouns. They're also being typical of this world. I think I'm just gonna go like the easy cop out of elf. Sort of like the business suit, but the like skirt version. Very like secretary vibes, because that's what their role is, vampire lord secretary, which the description for this are well read, apparently bored, and chewing gum. And then they've also only read the report.
For the listeners who don't know the alternatives, it's also possible to choose I have been in this place a dozen times, or I have worked here in the past and have an axe to grind.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of us picked that last one. It's a good one, but
And all inspectors, don't take damage and do not deal damage, and speak all the needed languages, including those of otherworldly beasts, and cannot be movement restricted or mind controlled.
I have a Salvatore question.
Oh yeah.
Which is glasses or no glasses. This is very important.
Obviously the little tiny round ones that old
Oh
people
yeah.
have, but
Thank you.
I think they're probably pretty young. But yeah, those glasses.
Is Salvatore the secretary for the Vampire Lord that like this is the Vampire Lord's castle, or is it just like like a coalition of Vampire Lords that just like rent out a couple, like rent out some other places or something like that? Basically, does your boss on this
That's a good
castle?
question. I think a coalition would be fun. So like my bosses, plural, own the castle, but like there's not like a specific one that I know. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have to explore the relationship between, your bosses and the people, responsible here, and ownership of the castle and the contract and whatever. Okay, the next page I think we can skip. That is instructions for us on how to portray characters, which we have read. Have we read that? Question mark to us.
I mean, I've read
Yeah.
it.
Okay, we're 30 minutes in. That's fine. We can take a break, like an hour in, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Then we're already at entering the dungeon. We're going very quickly. First, the inspectors decide how they arrive, while the dungeon players decide what is currently going on inside the dungeon. Pick these options on your own before the other side reveals their choice. So I would like our two duos to open a private message with each other and just PM each other which of these options that are written in the document here you prefer. And then when you have chosen, just say out loud that you have chosen something, and then we will reveal. I will message Sean. This is the least exciting part for our audience. I'm very sorry. But we have to be secretive to each other.
Mm-hmm. Whisper, 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 whisper.
All right, we know what we're doing then.
Okay, we have also made a vote here, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
Then I think inspectors say what you're doing, and then we will describe what's happening inside.
Okay. We manifest suddenly in the boss's office or just next to them.
Okay. Then it is maybe a good time to ask Sean. Do you know who the boss here is?
I mean, is it the Earthwell Dark Lord?
I mean, that's the question. Is the
Yeah.
Dark Lord gone, and there's someone else here now?
That would be very funny if it's called the Israel Dark Lord's Castle, and they're not even the current person at the castle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe Earthwell Dark Lord like up and left suddenly, and then like Second Command had to take over.
What if this is the meanwhile Dark Lord?
intermittent Dark Lord.
Anyways, that's my bad joke for the night. Thanks for listening.
If your bingo card is not yet filled out, I'm sure this will be relevant on someone's card.
Yeah, let's have it be the second command. What kind of person are they?
Grumbly is an adjective that I immediately have in my mind.
Grumbly. Okay. I had I had a name that I don't know if it works with Grumbly, but anemone of fright is something I would steer into.
Okay.
Put it somewhere into there.
Is the intermittent Dark Lord like a vampire person, or is this just a dude?
Just a two. What if?
I mean, it's even funnier if it's not a vampire, right?
Yeah, if it's like it's
Yeah.
gotten to the point where there's not even a vampire in charge of the vampire castle.
Yeah.
Has like an artist's name, but was born with a regular person name.
Yeah.
Is this like some other fantasy creature that is dressed up like a vampire though? Because you can't not have a vampire running.
I do like this.
The Terry Pratchett energy is increasing, which is,
which is very good for this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it's a tall salamander?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like a lizard person.
That is good. Also, probably in a nice suit. Big cape.
Absolutely.
So what state do we find this dungeon in?
Yeah. So we have chosen the option that is described as you're currently getting chewed out for past failures, bad performance, generally bad attitude, laziness, or all of the above.
Oh.
And I'll imagine this as there's like a ballroom kind of situation. There's a large room with like a balcony and an assembly of most of the people who are working in this castle, just looking up to the balcony where the intermittent Dark Lord is standing and just complaining, just about how the last week was going. The entire castle was just not up to standards. They have documentation that just shows, like the bone rattling quota has not been met.
You let 3 adventurers get away.
However vampiring is measured, it just didn't work out. One huge problem that they have, but is not spoken out loud, is that most people here are not vampires. So the blood drinking is extremely low in here, and that is just the like someone shows a chart of blood drinking, and just the stats are extremely low compared to like there's always the number of when there were still vampires here, and that number is like 800% higher.
Line went down.
And that's just terrible. And then you show up.
Yeah.
Which means we can move into the first salvo, if you like. It says, use these prompts to inspire your first argument between the boss and inspectors. Jump between points freely, and feel free to talk past each other. When you feel fine with your opening points, just end the scene and move on to the next pages of the game. And these are, we don't have to say these exact things. This is just like ideas to get people started. I should also say, because I haven't said this out loud, the boss is not controlled by one specific person. Anyone who is the dungeon can be the boss at any point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say if this helps you two on the dungeon end, I think while Silas does manifest suddenly next to the boss, it is almost with the vibe of a kick open the doors, no matter how reinforced. Already starts walking around the place. Is going to shows up and just starts is already on it.
Yeah. I think Salvatore is appears right next to you, right? But stays up near the boss. At first, you said that there was they were talking about the blood sucking numbers. That's not what I want. Drinking. There we go. And I don't know, maybe we have heard you're hiding the chart behind yourself. And I want you to show whatever's happening to me. I don't know who's the boss right now, but
yeah. I think if this lizard man doesn't show the chart, Silas just walks up behind wherever it's being hidden. Walks behind them and just tilts their head if the chart is backwards. Get real up in their personal space.
Oh, I would imagine. I mean, I imagine that the chart is way out, just out in the open, and if you guys just pop in, then it's there. You can just walk the other side.
Then I do think just if Salvatore doesn't do anything, Silas comes up and grabs the fucking chart.
No. I was just taking notes on the chart. I think disappointed sounds as I wrote little things down on the check clipboard. There we go. That's the word I wanted.
Yeah, I think Anemone's it takes a bit for him to figure out you're even there, just in mid, just too caught up in the moment of the angry monologue. Has already referred to the chart, so doesn't need to look back to it for a while, and then maybe goes to turn a page, flip to the next sheet. Notices you're there. What? Who?
You expect this lot and mostly serves all the non-vampires to get these numbers and taps on the line at on the left side of the chart. What's wrong with you?
Everyone here has agreed to what they're being asked to do. They can collect the blood and consume it in any manner they wish. It's, there are opportunities for them, even though they aren't vampires.
And do they have the tools here to do that?
Of course. Of course they do. How dare you even ask?
Raised eyebrow.
We're in a great establishment here.
Pops Gum, can we see them?
Anemone like points down at the audience and says, "Show everyone your blood-sucking implements." And the people downstairs like start fumbling in their robes and like in pockets and get out like, you know, regular syringes, but also like just completely like equipment that is just like, what, that's this will never work. Just you know, incredibly like how like that would be as good at as like just like using your mouth without teeth.
Someone pulls out some of those plastic vampire teeth you get on Halloween.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, the just like things you would associate, just like word bubble vampire kind of tools.
Okay.
Excuse me.
This I think Silas walks up to the person that has like, I don't know, some sort of like blunt instrument, and he's like, "Hey, would you mind if I take a look at these?"
Yes, of course.
You know, and takes it, and I think like pushes it against their skin. You know, nothing. You know, turns around, looks back at Anemone, raised eyebrow.
Yes, he is a very big disappointment. I tell him that every week at the report.
You're the one that's supposed to provide these.
What?
Yeah.
No, I tell them to get implements. That is the best he could come up with.
No, but you're supposed to provide.
All right. I think
Okay.
Silas like hands, I don't know, like a spoon back to the person, and you know, turns on his heels and like heads out the door and is just gonna start looking at some of the other parts of the castle.
I think as you're walking away, there's like a slight conversation between the person with the spoon and someone else is just like, you should at least like make that a spork, give it a pointy end.
Excuse me, you haven't even introduced yourselves. What is even going on now?
I think Salvatore like sighs a little bit and is like, isn't it obvious? We're the inspectors.
Ah, heck. All right. Meeting is adjourned. Everyone on positions. And then there's scrambling. You know, the kind of scrambling where people run in all directions and some people collide.
Mhm.
Yep.
Real teenagers and their parents walked in on them
Yeah.
having a party, like scrambling.
Yeah, Salvatore is definitely watching this like sort of just absently tapping pen on clipboard, kind of like expressionless a little bit, like watching them scramble around. Popping gum still.
But yeah.
Yeah, and now, you know, now we can actually enter the main scenes. But I think since we have done all the pre stuff, now's a good time to do our first break of the game.
Yeah.
Good.
Get one.
Are we back? I think we're back.
We're back.
Hello, and welcome back to the Inspector's Eye. We're in the meat of the game. But before we fully go in, I would like to take this opportunity of 18 viewers, a huge audience, to fulfill a thing I promised, and a thing that maybe people previously on the stream have promised. I haven't been here all the time, so I don't know if people said it, but you may know about the raffle. If you put any money in our donation funds, you have a chance to win at the big raffle. And some of the things in games that were played this weekend. One of the things is a game that is supposed to be published this weekend, which I wrote. So it makes sense, maybe, if I do that right now. And if you check my Twitter, at Vitero, it's visible on here. If Magico scrolls up a bit, you can look at it. It's called Archive Delve. It's just now open. It's just now published. It's on itch, and you have a chance to win it. There are 3 copies in the raffle. I won't tell you much more about the contents of the game because if you see it there, then you'll find out. We're going back into the actual game of inspectors now. So now we're at the point where the checklists come in. Our document has a bunch of placeholders called problem name. That is where on the checklist you would check off the things here, and we will just like manually type in the problems and describe them as we find them, and we'll probably find more problems than this, so you can just copy paste if we find that we run out of problems at the bottom here. And we can just call upon a scene and say, I'm entering the volcano part of the castle, and I want to look at a problem inspired by a thing on the checklist, and we'll invent things as we go along.
Yeah. Can the dungeon players like do a quick little recap of the like broad strokes, I guess, of what you said about the castle?
Yes.
Like visual, I guess, or vibes.
I'll read out what we wrote. We are in the erstwhile Dark Lord's castle. It is the dungeon is a vampire castle converted into a clockwork mansion that is unusually overgrown. The conversion into a clockwork mansion is against code. It is against the contract that was signed when the vampire lords got access to the castle by the original owners of who hand out vampire castles. Many of the staff are lesser immortals. Things are going wrong, especially because of wrong approaches to improve team morale and long-term use of the overdrive mode.
Extremely Castlevania. I would love to wander into a room that's just like filled with a bunch of this overgrowth. What kind of room is it? I don't know. But
maybe the ceiling is open so that light streams in, and that motivates more plants to grow up to the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Maybe
Do
it's
you think
like
this is a purposeful ceiling opening, or like it's like cracked open or something?
I think
think it's
originally not.
Oh, okay.
I think originally not, and then we put in the clockwork mansion kind of stuff where the room can transform. And at some point, the plant was like, "That's nice. I would like this to not close anymore," and just
Yeah.
merged itself in.
I think Silas turns to one of the anyone that's around here. It's like, so how many actual vampires are around here? And then sort of like motions towards the fucking sun seeping into the vampire castle. Are there any actual vampires here anymore?
I think like a little cat monster who's like stationed here just chimes in with a yeah. There's vampires around, just not in this room. Obviously, it's supposed to breed a false sense of security. I think that's what they told us.
See,
Can't
is
be any
there
vampires around the castle if there's places like this. Am I right? But
is
then things
there
move.
is there a way for them to like get around the castle without having to move through this room?
Oh yeah, there's it's a labyrinth. There's places everywhere. And again, like everything moves, so we could close up this hole. It eventually,
Eventually.
eventually, if need
Oh.
be.
So can you show us how it moves? I assume this is part of the amendments, right? The moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Anemone here? Is the boss here?
Maybe not right now.
Not
But
right now. Okay.
There's like a mid-level like little gargoyle who's like up on the tree and who's like signing the like at its neck level like no thing. Who's like, no, not here because this room doesn't move. It's like pointing to the next room. Let's show them the other room.
Yeah. Let's go over
So
here. I'll
does
show you
or
how.
doesn't this room move?
I know this one it does totally moves, but like is that other rooms is better. Looks more interesting. More impressive.
I'm interested in seeing how this room moves though, with the light situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. All right. Here's the
Hazard.
thing. This moves, but we gotta move the other room to move this room. So we gotta go to the next room over. All right. This one's supposed to move on its own. It's not working right now.
It's not working right now. This is
Yeah, not
this.
Jots that down.
Yeah. This
I mean,
story.
it works. Caesar Johnson. It works. It's just you gotta do one and the other. It's just not on its own. Let's go see it.
It's a process, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Writes down liar cat on there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think we have to go over to like a next like hallway that is also still overgrown. Overgrown, not grown. Wow. But
I mean, this
would
room's
the candles.
overglown with the
Yeah, with the
sun.
light. Yeah, There's just a bunch of
Um,
candles in this next room too. And we like pull a lever. It's like one of the candles is a lever or whatever.
Ooh.
Ooh. Is the candle that you pull for a lever, is it on fire? Is this like
Yeah,
a
of course. Yep.
So how many when you like change this layout, how many employees get burned here? Is that a problem you have, or
Oh, please,
not on my hat.
most of us aren't even flammable.
It's like a skeleton.
Yeah.
Jots down fire hazards ? But non-flammable employees also ?
Like we're fine. We're trained in the use of it, but like adventurers, they got to use it. They have a little extra danger.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
For gameplay reasons, I recommend actually writing those down because, like, in the end,
Oh, fuck.
you will
Yeah.
report those.
Mhm.
I said I wrote down. What did I write down before?
Let me write down.
Liar cat.
Lying cat.
Yeah, that was yours.
Well, I think that was more of a like that was jotted in the margins.
Yeah, not actually part of the check.
Yeah, I will put down like sunlight hazard, I think.
Oh yeah.
I wrote down something earlier when we were in the other room.
Oh, was it about the blood chart?
No, I think it was when everyone was scattering, maybe.
I
Um,
don't know.
I don't know either.
Just look at the chart and see if anything pops up that could have been there.
Yeah. Unoptimal blood
There we go.
drinking. It's fine if I miss. Oh, fine, non-optimal. Yeah. I feel like I don't know.
Bird, do you think this lever works like well with all the rotating? I think we could give him this one.
Yeah, I think it works. It would probably even work in the overgrown room. We're just, unwilling to ram it against the overgrowth.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I guess we pull out both the rooms eventually move. We just gotta,
What moves in them? Like, does like a bookshelf move over for like a secret passage or something kind of deal?
I was imagining that it was gonna be like it's like the hallway moves up and like goes over the hole or whatever. And, like it moves straight up, and then the other room with the overgrowth and the sunlight just moves over and takes its place, and then like the hallway is now the ceiling covering the thing.
So can we go back in the overgrown room and see if it's changed, or has it like moved away from us now?
Oh yeah.
The
Both answers are funny.
now. We're just technically
Huh?
above it now.
We're above it now?
Yeah, the way I just described it, there's probably like a service shaft or something we can like take a ladder down.
Yeah. So if we're above it now, do you have like a map of how this whole thing, like a blueprint, that we could check out?
Oh, I don't have a map. There's like a map room we can go.
Well, so
I thought y'all.
how do you
Oh, so there's a map room?
how do you employees navigate if you haven't been provided directions for how to move about this place? Is it just do you spend a lot of time on the job just wandering around?
Yeah, of course. At some point, saves a lot of extra working time. Just walking around. It's a good
walls.
excuse. I have a lot of excuses for meetings. I just tell the boss, sorry, got lost again in 3A.
So do a lot of employees miss meetings and trainings?
Yeah, of course. Hate them. Have you seen them? They're rubbish.
Well, no, I haven't seen them, but I'd like
Gum.
to.
This skeleton, doesn't have any expression, but just like looks at you with like big eyes, eye holes, and hanging shoulders, and it's just like, I would give the world to never have any meetings, any training.
And why is that? They're just boring. They just.
What do I need about blood transfusion training? I'm a rattler.
And they require you to come to those?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not well planned. So I just find excuses.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Look, you
Uh-huh.
never know. You
I always-
technically have
So-
blood 2 in your marrow. You never know when you're gonna need to replace that.
I always tell them, this meeting could have been a scroll.
Well, you do have a big library here. That's a good idea.
Hey, Space, how much of the do you think we got any amount of map in the report? I mean, you skimmed it, but
I think the
what's
map
the
was like.
vibe?
I think the map was the castle, like the castle before it was turned into a clock tower.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
That was why Silas was like, "Fuck this! This ain't gonna be helpful. It's gonna be different. I know it."
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Cool.
Let me take this checklist really quick. So, where do you keep the I don't want to just say where. Yeah, I will. Where do you keep your valuable magic artifacts? The one adventurers might be coming here looking for.
I don't know. That's not my department. Sometimes they give me some and then I drop them. If they defeat me.
So what's your department again? Also, is this the gargoyle or the skeleton? Like out of character.
This is skeleton. Gargoyle.
This is the skeleton guy. Okay.
This skeleton just like I just have a bag of bones here and then I toss them.
Just wherever, or at like adventurers, or like is it a decoration thing or a defense thing?
I mean, if they come in the room, I just toss them at them, and then if they're done, I gotta pick them back up because we don't have infinite of them. People always forget you gotta pick them up again. It's annoying.
I see. You pick up the bones. All right, that's good. That's what I was gonna ask. Well, who is in the magic artifacts department?
I don't know. You gotta.
That's Posey.
She's Posey. Thank you.
She's in the basement.
In the basement. Okay.
How do we get to the basement?
Well, normally you go over to the library you were just talking about, and take an elevator down. I don't know. That's usually that way. Points to like a door to the left or something. I don't know if every room's where it's supposed to be right now to make that the simple trip it's supposed to be. I don't know where else y'all been.
This is our first stop.
Oh, perfect. Then that should be it. Yeah. Just go that way. Hit a library. Go down.
All right. Thank you. I guess Silas is gonna do that.
Yeah.
Wants to see if these magic artifacts are stored safely.
Okay.
Yeah. I will follow you because I don't feel like getting lost and don't care about like checking out other places.
Mm-hmm. And also during this is very much like, and we're like, are these instructions? We're like, this is a good chance to check out the elevator.
Yeah. Well, I
and like
assume
how
the
easy it is to move
instructions-
around.
I am following you on the assumption it's going to take us a while and sort of like meandering I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Probably got a new piece of gum. But like I'm assuming these directions will not be accurate based on what we've seen so far.
Hmm.
Yeah, are these accurate instructions? And is the elevator ride smooth or horrifying?
I think the problem is I think the directions are fine. I think the elevator does get a little bit. I think it like turns off. It just like shuts down like halfway down. Um, for a good like 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But when you get down there, Posy's just there. Somehow she's gotten the word. Oh, I hope your trip wasn't too bad. Like
Got-
we always say here, sometimes
is that typical for the elevator? Does it normally just sort of stop?
Oh, these dungeons, as like we're always saying here, sometimes you gotta go through the darkest parts to get to the light.
Uh-huh.
The light here being the artifact you're supposed to be seeing, I suppose.
Yeah. So, do you get paid overtime for, all this time you're wandering around?
Getting stuck in
Oh,
elevators for
me,
20 minutes.
I never wander.
No, not like on purpose, but like how they don't give you a map, this elevator breaks, you know.
Oh well, I mean, I run the artifact department. I have many means at my disposal. It's not a problem for me.
Mhm. What about the other employees?
They're all from my understanding, they're all incredibly capable. We're pretty isolated down here. I don't know how the other departments handle their business.
Hmm.
So, what would you like to see today?
I mean, I'd like to see where your artifacts are stored.
Would you like to see where they're stored, like while we're waiting, where we store them when the adventurers are here?
Both.
Oh, they're different? So like you move them right when they get here?
No, just sometimes you need a refill. Sometimes,
Uh-huh.
any lucky adventurers make it all the way through.
Well, in Jester search, like, is there a door like behind them or something? you gonna show us?
Yeah, she she fiddles in in like a fanny pack. Takes out what kind of looks like tacked down version of like a garage door opener. Hits a button in like the wall behind her, slides on up.
Oh my god. It's great.
Space, any ideas on how the like storage room looks?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, sorry, I meant bird. I meant science bird. My bad.
That makes more sense.
So
It does.
I think first of all, there's many tiny guys who are currently just like polishing everything because they got worried for a while, and also we stopped the elevator intentionally just to delay. And this place, we used that delay just like to clean everything up, just to push the worst dirt into the corners, and things are still looking terrible, but it's like a small pack of little stone guys. still like scrambling around. And for some reason, the boss is also, just like somewhere in the background, not actively engaging, just like, oh, I'm just here. That's just where I am currently engaged. And otherwise, I think it has like the energy of where like the crown jewels are held in like what's it called? The tower. In England.
You can't say I know, but I know the vibe you're talking about at least.
Tower of London. I don't know. Yeah.
Tower of London.
Yeah, Posey is just like the door slides open. This is Balthazine. Posey just says, "Oh, don't mind the knolls. Sometimes the artifacts just need a good turning."
Right. I think are they like in little glass cases? Like what's going on with them?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
I think just walks up to any of these cases and like just puts a little bit of pressure on them, and then like
the glass falls inwards.
This.
It's not for touching.
It's not.
It's a glass case. Look, there's a sign, and then there's a tiny sign that was just added 5 minutes ago that says "Do not touch." Handwritten.
Some of these could be unstable, and if me pressing lightly on the glass can do damage to it.
So
we're very careful.
This isn't where you store it when the adventurers come then, because gestures at the glass.
No, this is for us, the highly trained professionals that work with the artifacts. We would know never to push the glass in such a way.
I barely touched it. I think Silas walks over to another artifact, lifts it up, and picks it out, and it's like a fancy wand. It's like this is it. This could if moved wrong, this could explode.
It starts glowing.
See, puts it back down very very carefully. Puts the glass back on it. Like this glass wouldn't do anything. You don't have any of this stored safely.
It's perfectly safe. That again, with the people handling it, usually, not to discredit. I don't know what your background is.
Usually,
an inspector. We know how to handle these things. We know what the limits are, and we abide by them.
And also,
I think if you knew
only
how to
handed out to most successful adventurers, on the way out. So once they have left, it is within their own responsibility what they're doing with charged magical artifacts, and they will not be used within the walls of the castle. Says one of those little gremlins.
I think
trying to sound official.
If you knew what you were doing, you would store these in safer conditions, in lead boxes, steel boxes, properly vacuum sealed. Pushes at a glass again, and the wand glows for a second, but steps away.
I can't believe you would walk into my department and say all these things are wrong. The door that we just went through, the whole room is vacuum sealed. We had to unvacuum it to let you in.
Yeah. Just writes on writes in the clipboard again.
I think Boja just goes, Anemone, can you please? Isn't this supposed to be your job? I don't like what they're doing here. I don't want to deal with it.
Do you?
It's unfair.
And then when he just like comes over in the way of someone who has been paying full attention the whole time, but like puts down papers that obviously were not being read, and says, "Do you want to go over to the encounter room and see some of these in action?"
Yeah.
Sure. That seems like a plan.
Better than looking at things in a glass case or that broken glass. You know what I mean.
Feel free to pick out any of these, and we will move over. And he opens a door to we are in like the basement level here, like an arena style room where we are basically in the backstage area of like a theater that one wouldn't even enter if you were an adventurer. But you just pick some of those things out, and then the salamander just like climbs down the wall in like adhesive wall, like fingers.
Right, salamander. Yeah.
And I imagine you can float, or what do you do? What powers do you have as inspectors to go from above to down there?
I don't know about Salvatore, but I think Silas just appears there again.
Yeah. Yeah. I will also appear, but like midair. How, we just don't know.
Oh, I think if you're appearing midair, just like right in your sight line of where you appeared, there's just like a little like a graffiti from an adventurer who clearly was skipping somehow. That wasn't completely
Yeah.
gotten rid of.
Yeah, what does it say?
Oh man. What does it say? It's probably just like Magnificus was here, but it's like the was is not like is like barely visible essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, everyone, on your marks. And then I think here's a good point to like introduce some of those minor immortals. I think a skeleton is a minor immortal. What other things and beings and people are minor immortals?
About like slimes are a dungeon classic.
Yeah, slimes. I think probably just like a dude who like won immortality through like a game of cards or something.
Oh yeah, it's that one guy who won a game against death and just doesn't die anymore. Until he is bested by someone else. Like technically, he is currently death.
Right. Yeah.
But he's just walking around as a regular guy, and it's just it's just not doing it.
Just a dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still named Benjamin. But like he fulfills the role of uppercase D death.
Yep.
And they are like coming in through various like Colosseum doors on the sides, and just like standing here in like pose, just saying, all right, feel free, just try it out. Except for Benjamin, who just says, "Not on me, please."
I point the wand at not Benjamin. And God, is it a big fireball? Is it a big fireball wand?
I doubt it. It's a silly effect, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, it could be like still a fire wand, but it comes out in like one of those like and like explicitly just the shape of like an explosion, like the cartoon explosion or like comic explosion, where it's just like the very sharp edges or whatever.
That's very good.
That's fun.
Yeah, I guess pointed at someone who wasn't Benjamin, and that happens.
What else is here?
I think. I mean, if we're supposed to simulate, I think it was at one of the skeletons and it died.
Yeah. Okay.
Like barely, but it made it.
I think hands the wand back to
Oh no, the skeleton still like falls apart in one of those like all bones in all directions effects.
Hands the wand over to Anemone and is like, so if that did actually hit, would they have places to go to get put back together?
Yeah, of course. You just have to pick him up, put him back together, and sometimes I complain that put the wrong bones in the wrong places, and then that's annoying. You gotta pick him back out and put him back in. It's like it's like magnet toys sometimes.
You don't have like an infirmary or anything?
Well, he's not infirm, is he?
Oh my god.
He's pretty firm, honestly.
I just like pinches like bridge of nose.
Do you have a place to help put him back together?
Well, he's right here. Why would we put him somewhere else?
Do you have
We just put him in a bag and carry him up to a table, and then someone sits down with him and like puzzles him back together.
You put him in a bag?
Well, you gotta transport him to the table.
That's someone who has like a specific job to do that. It's just sort of whoever.
Yeah, it's just someone who's in the mood.
Feels like it. Oh boy.
I think the skeleton jaw just talks. It's usually it was Benjamin, right? In this room, it was just the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually Benjamin. I always have to tell him, Tibby is not a humorist. They're completely separate. I don't know why he's always putting my leg in my arm.
I see.
Oh man.
I think Silas like doesn't lean into Salvatore because I'm sure they're like twice their size, but gets kind of close and is like, I can't believe they don't have a hospital here.
Or even just like a repair facility, because there's not like blood happening, at least with this guy, but like nothing.
Like, what about that cat? Oh, what did I even write down?
No idea.
Well, someone should get them back together.
Yeah, so honestly, get on it. And then he just waves, and some of the low level guys come over, and like they have just like a burlap sack and just start shoving bones in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the skull is still active. The skull is just like looking on, and the moment you put the bottom part of the mouth back on, the skull can talk again. It's just like, good shot.
Thank you. Well, about medical provisions, do people have places to sleep here? Are they expected to stay here?
Is there living nearby if they aren't expected to stay here?
You got coffins for this place, or whatever people need to sleep in.
Oh yeah, of course. This is Anemone. Yeah. Most of the people belong in coffins. Obviously, it's a vampire castle. Even I got myself a coffin. Got to live up to standards here. The first question didn't really make sense to Anemone. Like, do they get to live somewhere else? But like the question, do they get coffins in the castle? That makes sense.
Can you show us?
Yeah, of course. Just yeah. Second set of stairs. Takes a while. We are like 5 floors underground. So just come with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big spiral staircase. That he just makes you walk up. At least this one isn't completely collapsing, because people take it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Is there another way? Is there another way up here? I got small legs.
Yeah, sure. But you already took the elevator and like didn't like it, so thought you wanted to see the alternate way.
Rolls his eyes.
What's the sleeping place like, Sean?
Do they have bunk bed coffins? I need to know.
Yeah, I would. I think there are a couple bunk bed coffins, but I think most of them are like leaned up against the wall a little bit. There's probably a couple hanging like upside down from the ceiling, just for the aesthetic effect. It is. I think there's like a lot of just like people's stuff around, and it is not well lit.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
The coffins are arranged by the individuals here. They just got a coffin and then could do with it what they wanted.
Yeah.
Some of them have like the fantasy equivalent of stickers on them. And it's clearly apparent that the vast majority of beings are entirely not the right things to use coffins.
Mm.
So, most of them are permanently propped open or just don't have, the upper half.
Right.
And the first
I think
thing,
there's actually a boulder squished in right now, like halfway into the room, in
Yeah,
one of the lean coffins.
the first thing that Anemone says as he comes in is like, I told them they shouldn't remove the roofs of their whole situation here. Then it's not an actual coffin anymore. Then it doesn't even work. I'm very sorry. They're not living up to the standards that I set for them.
You didn't get people who needed like different coffins or bigger coffins, like the proper stuff?
No, of course I got them bigger coffins if they're bigger.
Then why were some of them taking the doors off of them?
I don't know. They just don't have respect for the traditions. This is a vampire castle. Vampires have always been sleeping in coffins, ain't they?
Sure. I think Silas is gonna go find like someone who's awake. That isn't an enemy. Like if anyone's like sitting on the edge of their customized coffin.
Yeah, I think there is a things we got. There's like an imp. It's probably like 3 foot. Definitely just like sitting kind of on the edge of the coffin. Doesn't have a ceiling. Doesn't have a roof on it. Doesn't have a top to it. Just like I think shuffling like a deck of cards or something.
Hey.
Are you guys allowed in here? I thought I didn't know
Yeah,
you were
we're
allowed in here, Anemone.
they don't have a choice of whether we're allowed in here or not.
Okay.
What do you? Why'd you take the top off the coffin? Out of curiosity.
I am a light sleeper. Well, more I'm an explosive awakener.
I
I
see.
didn't want to hit my head against the ceiling.
That's very fair.
Done it a couple times.
Have you gotten in trouble at all for removing the top of the coffin? And looks over to Anemone, like just like serious death glaring at him.
I thought this was supposed to be private. I didn't think they knew. I got yelled at not by the boss, but by others. But that was more when I hit my head. It was loud, so I took it off. I think that's why no one told on me.
All right.
Is this a problem? I didn't think.
No, you're not a problem. You're not a problem at all. I'm sorry to bother you, and it just sort of like walked back over to Anemone, still death glaring. And I don't think I have anything else in this room unless Salvatore does.
I do not.
I think like a big ol' like bell rings, signal that adventurers are coming.
Oh.
That's the interruption. If you guys are done anyway. If you two are done.
Oh my. If our stream host is ready for that, we can take another break and Welcome back. We are in the third part of The Inspectors Are In. We are in a vampire castle. The inspectors are displeased with how it's going. The current Dark Lord, who is actually a salamander, just in a vampire dress, who is insisting that everyone adhere to vampire standards, does not notice that his personal standards are not the standards of these inspectors. And just before the break, we heard that apparently adventurers are coming in. This is going to make everything more complicated, I think. What were you thinking of, Sean? Where's this leading us?
I think that. Well, I mean, one, do the inspectors want to go see the dungeon in action, or are we avoiding that?
Oh, Silas would love to.
It's too interesting. Let's not do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just wanted to double check if we were gonna like see what happens when everyone's like getting ready for it, or when it's actually happening. Yeah, I think we then everyone, or at least you two, pop in at just a big ol' is atrium the word for this? Yeah, just a big ol' no, it's like there's a big gate that leads open to like a quote unquote garden, which is thematically not like super growing with stuff. It's got like thorny plants and stuff. That is just like a big imposing like lead in to the actual castle. And I think everyone got in there on time. If you want to see, I think like what the adventurers are going to be facing is like some traps, some skeletons, throwing bones, obviously, and some like some bats flying around, who I think also are employees here.
We immediately see the skeleton from earlier, just like
Yeah.
on a higher position, reaching into a burlap sack and just tossing out like a standard dog bones. You're like, yeah.
Oh, he really just does throw bones.
Downstairs is like a guy with like a shield, who's just like. What the shit, dude?
I think during all these during all the like adventures dealing with the skeletons and stuff, Silas just like is on the edge of like the frame, like walks out like out of a curtain like behind the adventurers and like looks at something, and then like adventurer steps over a trap or something like that, and like appears from like behind a box and then like checks the trap and is like out, like has not been seen by the adventurers yet. It will never be seen by the adventurers, but it's just like slowly checking things out behind them as they're just doing their dungeon shit.
Uh-huh.
There's like a bunny girl who just starts, like unlocking a gate, while like bats fly in from left and right, and someone swats at them, and he that like feeling of you're trying to cast a spell in an MMO, but you keep getting interrupted, and so she starts over.
This is why you don't play casters. I'm curious what Salvatore is doing during all this.
Same.
Yeah, good question. Really just sort of observing for now, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Not anything specific that they're like taking action on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Standing with the clipboard, popping gum.
Sean
I
and
don't
I
know.
will just keep up making up stuff if you don't
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think there is. What are we even talking about?
What are these? What are these traps? What are they doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's definitely like a pit trap. There's like there is like the arrow, like step on a switch. Arrows are shooting about between hedges. And or well, not the I think it's like the like planters for the where the thorn plants are supposed to be. Like a little slot opens up and shoots at the across the way. Um,
Are they like working okay, or are they hitting other things, or
I think they're working okay. It's just if there was going to be anything to critique about, is maybe that like it's like the arrows are shooting into stone a lot, so you might have to replace them a lot. I don't know.
Mhm.
There's a what other kind of guy do we need? Here? There is. I can't think of creatures.
There any kobolds?
Sure. Yeah, there's a kobold with like a a funnel and like like a knife and a funnel basically.
Are
Trying to get
are
that blood sucking in. Just like waiting behind like a statue for the adventurers to get close enough to ambush them.
Hmm.
One of the adventurers is like a Numo, the Final Fantasy, like the droopy dogs, basically.
Oh yeah. I know I know the droopy dogs.
He's like, "Aw." His energy level.
As he's being chased by a kobold with a knife and a funnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He comes around the corner, sees that kobold, goes, "Oh no!" And then they like go around the pillar and have the like first they go in one direction around the pillar, and the kobold decides to change direction. They come face to face, both change direction, come face to face again. It's that nonsense. Until at some point the shield guy just like picks up the kobold by the neck, and the kobold just like complains. And then from above, the intermittent Dark Lord, Anemone, just presses a button and says to the inspectors, "Now, watch this," and the entire room reconfigures, and the floor slides to the right, and a wall rotates, and another wall comes in, and a tree is moved in, and the adventurers get split up into two different adjacent rooms that you can observe from above, and it's all very impressive, except all not up to standard. It's all illegal.
It like all creaks too much and is shaky.
Primarily these are all changes to the castle that were not accepted in the original contract.
Yeah, I think this is the part of the design that's actually really good. It's just that is also a problem because
Right.
we're not allowed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Anemone is definitely taking a lot of credit for something that was built before he came in.
Right.
I don't know what to say in this room.
I mean, if you don't have anything specific for this, I mean, if you don't have questions for anybody, like the adventurers could like move on. We can just decide how that goes, and if you have somewhere you want to ask more questions about, we can move on to there.
Yeah, I think the one thing Silas is more interested in is the aftermath of this.
Mhm.
How does everyone clean up after the adventurers have their tear, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess the adventurers could cut their way through, and then you could just wait until that happens, and then ask about cleanup from someone who just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get in deeper, and you get basically to downstairs here to like an adjacent room that I imagine is again like backstage at a theater, where there are mirrors and chairs and like equipment is everywhere, and the people who were just like coming out to work are now hanging out here. Nobody got extremely demolished. Like nobody has to put a skeleton back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like
someone is gathering the
adventurers-
bats.
Yeah, I think someone like hit that imp or whatever that got held, but it just like burst into fire and just like appeared down here, and they're fine. Just like getting a sandwich or something.
So, someone is sweeping outside and writing like some stuff that fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did all the like traps reset like properly? Like it seems like the arrow ones weren't a big deal. But what about that big pit?
Currently, the rattling skeleton is going down to one. Is like, when you come close, it's like,
You good down there?
yeah, just tossed a bunch of bones in here. I didn't toss them. Just like the machines turned around and then just shoved them in here. It's very annoying.
Do you got? How'd they get down there?
When the walls turn and then shove forward, then the bones get,
Well, how'd you get down there? Did you climb? Did you use a rope, a ladder?
Just jump down.
Just jumped into the deadly pit. Okay.
I mean, what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna get impaled or what? And in fact, he's currently impaled. There, there's just a spike through his chest, but like, he shrugs.
And how are you gonna get out?
Yeah, someone's gonna get me rope in a moment. I'm not done.
Okay, no like rope ladders here or anything.
Yeah, if you gotta, any moment. I don't know. Give it some time.
Normally, something like this, retrieving foreign objects from a pit, should be a two-person job.
Yeah, but I'm in no hurry. I can just hang out. It's fine. In fact, he leans back, like folds his arms behind his head.
He's just like lounging on the spike. All right.
They don't even know I'm down here sometimes. I spent hours on here once.
Uh. Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Do you want us to go find someone for you, or?
Sounds like you're gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, I can't do anything against it then. So, go ahead.
I guess we go find someone.
I think you
Yeah.
see someone like when you turn to leave. I think you see someone like collecting the arrows, who also does have like a ladder made of bones. Presumably is gonna be on their way over. It's another skeleton.
The bone ladder.
Hey, are you gonna help? Gonna help that Gonna help your friend down there?
What's your skeleton's name? Bird.
I don't know.
On the spot.
That's fine.
Guerami.
Guerami. Oh, is Guerami done already? Usually it takes them a little longer.
Well, no, but retrieving foreign objects from a pit like that is a two-person job. Why do you
I
just
mean,
have one? Why do you just have one
gets-
person doing it?
Guerami retrieves the objects. I retrieve my objects. Then I guess I'm the second person to bring the ladder to get them out. That's two people.
You're not like over there watching him. Like, what if something goes wrong and the pit trap like?
I mean, the pit trap really does one thing. It's a pit, and then Guerami jumps on in, gets her stuff. It can't activate again.
It can't activate again. It's not going to reset.
It's already a pit open.
Sure, but it's not going to close up on them.
Oh.
Like what? He spent hours down there one time. What if it reactivates? Like, what if someone forgets he's down there? Turns on. He's stuck down there until the next time the pit trap is used.
I think I walk like halfway there, and it's like, hey, Guerami, what happens if it resets?
I don't know. This one is just a hole. And worst case, they're just gonna, put a wall on top of me. I'm gonna hang out here for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we're all immortal here. Like turning things, like we're all immortal here. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. All right.
It's not a big deal. It hasn't happened either, but also if it did, I can't imagine it'd be a big deal. We'd notice Guerami was gone. We'd notice Guerami was gone. Check some places. Eventually, we'd get to the trap, or a adventure would come, and that's just another thing for them to have to deal with. There's a skeleton in a pit. Woo, you think you're in a pit, and then all of a sudden, there's also a skeleton you got to deal with. Wow. Actually, we should probably do that more often on purpose.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm gonna write that down.
I'd probably get a bonus. Just ask the pit lord.
You get bonuses here? Do you normally get bonuses here?
I think. I think. What was it? Varlin the White. They got a bonus, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, I had a bonus once.
Once? How long have you been working
not
here?
A bonus.
I mean, was an exciting time.
How long have you been working here? Guerami?
Do we have? I think I had meat then. Yeah, I think that was meat times. I think it was they had the first Dark Lord then. This was a proper proper web castle then.
So like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is this the last time you've gotten a bonus?
Oh, are you doing puns at me now? Getting bones?
Oh
Get him
man.
out of there. Um, hmm.
The great thing about being a dungeon player is I need to care about nothing. I can just say things into the ether.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just you have to deal with. You're the one with the. You two are the ones with things to do.
Yeah.
Things to get done.
Right. So and then the other guy was just like collecting arrows, right?
Will get Guarmy out with the bone ladder whenever Guarmy's ready.
Yeah, whenever.
Um.
What about
I
the
feel like I need
bats?
to go.
Oh, I'm
What?
sorry. Oh no, you go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna be like, I feel like we need to go find a anemone again.
My like last big curiosity is what about the bats? How are the bats doing?
The bats are in the adjacent in the backstage room, like grooming each other in the ways of bats. Eating berries.
Some
Okay.
berries. Yeah.
Yeah, some berries.
There's like there is like a tub of like whatever blood was collected, but I don't think they ever actually drink from it.
I have
But
been
it is there for them, presumably.
I have been informed by chat. Bat stage room.
Ah, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The bat stage room. Okay, sounds like the bats are doing good. As far as I know, I guess the player, don't know if there's like specific situations, specific bats need to be kept in, but doesn't sound like it's bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, Salvatore.
Yeah. What do you want to see?
Yeah. I feel like if there's like a central mechanism for this clockwork stuff, that would be good to see. I don't know about anything else though after that.
Yeah, that could be the last part of the inspection before we move into the end part of the game. Obviously, I don't know what the central part is, but we'll see. Yes, somewhere in the center of the castle, right?
Presumably.
Yeah. That's probably the one of the parts that doesn't move, except for like the insides of it. Obviously, a lot of cogs. It's very loud. I think like stuff's moving in it, even when like the parts of the castle aren't moving. Yeah, I think I think most of the like it's on a massive scale. There's probably like some smaller cogs or whatever, but I think a lot of them are big. What would you like to see here?
Just see how it works, how it's doing.
I was imagining that the room has like some kind of Hellraiser puzzle style central machine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep. There are
Like obviously it's cogs, but you know they are all very
Yeah.
complicated,
mhm. Oh yeah.
and then connect to cogs around the walls that then lead in all directions,
Um,
and they can hinge in and hinge out, so that sometimes you know rooms are connected or not connected to the
Mm-hmm.
machinations of the constantly rotating central stuff here.
Yeah.
yeah. There's probably some gargoyles like looking at like individual places, trying to make sure like that nothing gets stuck in between the cogs. I think they have their own little like clipboards with like things to check off.
Oh, I have another thing to add. I think we currently have nobody on reference Twitter because we have nothing visual to add here. But I do have a visual thing in my mind, which is that this room is in like stark lighting conditions. Like it's mostly very very dark, except the machine has like light coming out of it that like only sometimes shines at you, in the way that if people would like to Google the game Naissance, which ends with 2 E's, looks. That is a game that has no textures and only uses lighting, and was made free by its creator.
How do you spell that?
Uh, it's hard to say. I'll write it into chat,
That's good. Yeah.
into you know Twitch chat. It's called Naissance. It's a game from 2014. Its creator made it free forever.
Oh
A while
wow.
ago. It has no enemies, but it still, you know, made a lot of emotions in me.
Cool.
I'm just putting in an advertisement for cool game now, I guess. And you're just
It's
getting
relevant.
you know dramatic lighting from the Hellraiser machine.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see one of them move it, but I don't know how everyone else feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, whatever you want to see, we have to appeal to you. So.
Yeah. Because, like, does it actually, like, work from in here? There hazards, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess you could just grab walk up to one of the gargoyles. And so you want to see it in motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Like any particular feature you want to see? Because I mean, this stuff's moving. I guess we could go to the scrying pool. Where yeah, most of the functions are usually you pull a lever in the rooms, but also we can make any of the motions happen from over here. We just gotta go. We're gonna walk over. You see that you see that wall over there. We're just gonna make our way over there.
Mhm.
There's some levers, some pools to see where we got where we're changing. You want to see where all that is?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think this gargoyle makes one last check. There's only 3 boxes to check on their paper. They check the last one and lead you over slowly. That's just how they move. All right. Anything in particular you want or need to ask me?
I, Xander, have no ideas. Silas, do you have any thoughts?
And they're also just those questions, I think.
Yeah, the questions are
Look,
good.
any of those you need to work with?
This is the weird mechanism, cog room, right?
Yeah.
How many people operate this machinery?
Ooh. Well, again, each worker, I think there's probably about 100 workers in the castle overall. Probably 75 are trained to work the individual switches in each room they're supposed to be working in. Here in Central, we got there are 5 of us always checking the gears and
Always checking. It's just the second one, and it's just repeating.
and sometimes Anemone comes by, and then there are 2 others that that are responsible to be in here whenever adventurers are here to make the big flashy stuff happen, or to be on standby. One of them's for flashy stuff. One of them's on standby in case one of us is having to clean something up. They're on back up there. They're over there, and just kind of a waiting and monitoring room. So yeah, there's 7 of us here.
Gotcha. Do you ever just use the mechanism to get rid of people? Or do you always set up that whole everything from earlier?
I don't fully understand your question.
Can't you just move around the castle so they can't get to where they want to get, and eventually they'll just get bored and leave?
We could. We don't. Seems counterproductive to the point of the castle.
And how long are people expected to operate these switches?
We usually go in 10-hour shifts. There's 2 of us here now. Well, 3 with the backup, and we got one more coming in. Varric's coming in for whenever the adventures get to where they're supposed to be for the finale parts. And there's 2 other of us gargoyles that switch out for me and the other one. Depending. We're on staggered shifts, 10 hours.
Operating machinery like this in 10-hour shifts?
It's pretty automated, but we're here. As you saw, we were mostly just making sure that things kept going the way they were. And we're here if there needs to be specific action taken.
What sort of repairs do you have to, like, does it break down a lot in here,
On this side, no. You gotta like do some regular like greasing. We check if stuff gets stuck in the gears. It doesn't happen that often. Again, not at least on this side.
Gravity
Sometimes
gets
it's
stuck in there
bad.
all the time.
Grammy gets stuck in there?
or?
Ah.
I hate when he does that.
Does that. Right. And how do they get stuck in there?
I don't know. He's just coming here and he's already in there. He's a doofus.
Yeah. Sure it's his fault somehow. Fiddles with the clipboard again. This poor fucking skeleton.
Yeah, jeez.
It's the only skeleton that gets stuck in there. The others manage not to.
Uh-huh. I don't know if there's anything else I can think of here.
Me neither.
Then, do you think we are done with the main inspection?
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you want to do one more break?
Sure. That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're doing.
Yeah, when we come back, we can see, what the consequences of the inspection are and everything.
Yeah,
In
we're
the
doing
game.
little break.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Welcome back. Hello to the final part of The Inspectors Are In. The actual inspection part is done. The inspectors have seen the erstwhile Dark Lord's castle, and they're going to hand in the report in a moment. That is why we have this part of our game manual in front of us. I'm going to read that out, and then we're going to play that part. We're going to probably be done with the game, a bit ahead of time, a bit ahead of schedule. So we'll have a bit of a longer break afterwards. We'll see. How about you read this part out?
Yeah, I didn't want to start before you were finished.
Yeah, that's why I prompted.
Handing in the report. If you would like to have one or more segment after this, the inspectors may hand in their report. The nature on the scene depends heavily on where their power comes from. In some cases, there is no entity or board to report the findings to. In this case, maybe there is a community of other inspectors of equal power to return to. This counterpart is played by the dungeon players. In either case, the inspectors should describe seriously and firmly what they have found. This is your time to shine and show your work. Use the marked fields on your checklists to guide your report, especially more heavy infractions. If you took notes, also involve them. When you have concluded, the inspectors will propose consequences for the dungeon. The counterpart may make amendments, vote on the proposed consequences, or simply enact the proposal without hesitation. That depends on who or what we are dealing with. Don't hold back here. After all, the game is over. Think in the spirit of justice, truth, and what you work for. You are not limited by regular resources. A look at the effects of your work can be a satisfying conclusion to the game.
So, what kind of thing are the inspectors actually coming back to?
I guess the owners? I don't know.
Maybe in this case, a bigger, proper vampire lord castle.
Maybe you walk into there and there's like a whole council vampire situation that you turn your report into.
Ooh.
Although, that would be the simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's an indirect answer to this.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know what the answer is, but just like if that is the direct answer, just think 90 degrees to the right from that.
Maybe it's like a board, and like one of the people there, it's a board made up of all your classic fantasy overlord. So there's like a demon lord there, there's like a vampire lord there, there's like some kind of weird wizard, there's a weird ghost. Like everything there is something you would see at the end of like a level 20 D&D dungeon, There's a dragon there.
There's a skeleton looks especially like Weremy.
It's like Grammy but big.
Yeah,
Weremy but big.
I like that. They're sitting, in some kind of like open theater style place, like Greek theater, an amphitheater scenario, because some of them are too large. There's definitely one of them is like a Dark Souls man who carries a huge sword. The one of the ones from the tweet who's like, you interrupted my feast/mourning and now you have to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is here.
Do you want to take the reins, Salvatore, on this part?
Good question. I don't know. I feel like both of us, because you're the terror, or what's the word? What's a full word?
Auditor.
The Auditor.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure. So I think the thing Silas starts with is pulls out maybe was able to get a proper blueprint from someone and puts it down on the table, and most of the problems at the erstwhile Dark Lord's castle stem from the clockwork system that they installed at some point against their contract, and they've not been able to keep up with the current Dark Lord. There has not been able to keep up with the demands that a ever shifting workplace has not been able to keep up with the demands of an ever shifting workplace. And maybe goes over just fiddles with the blueprint some, and shows off where that big central mechanism, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think Salvatore will be and the second biggest problem is that there aren't we didn't interact with any vampire workers there, but they're all expected to meet the quota, blood drinking of vampires, and that's yeah, not a very vampire-y castle, but they're expected to do that anyways. I don't know. It's not an ideal situation.
And stay in coffins
Yeah.
without without oh my god, this is me losing the words. Coffins not tailored to their needs. There we go. That's all the words.
Yeah.
I think the thing, and during this, I think Silas is specifically wondering how whoever the vampire person on the board is responding.
Yeah.
Kind of out of his own curiosity, I think, more than anything.
Sean gets to be the vampire.
I get to be the vampire. Perfect. The vampire lord is clearly upset about the machinations. Is confused, probably also still upset about the blood harvesting for no reason, essentially. And I guess this maintains would not actually care that much about the coffin situation, but it's kind of like a rollover effect from being mad about the other parts. And just I think a couple times while you're thing just quietly interjects to the demon lord next to him, just why would you worse the perfect good castle like that and stuff like that during your report.
Yeah, Demon Lord next to him is a just huge jawed let's say demon empress, but it's mostly jaw, and she at some point raises a finger and asks, "So you're saying they installed a huge mechanism in the castle?"
Well, I don't know if the current owners did. I don't think it was him, but the last one did.
But that's not in the contract.
It
It's not
is
in the
not.
contract at all. It doesn't matter
No.
who did it. They need to fix
No.
it.
They do need to fix it. Also, for a dungeon where adventurers coming through, they have absolutely no medical services. Nothing. They just put their skeletons employees in a fucking bag.
Huge Jeremy is outraged.
Also make them climb into pits to collect stuff, and then they're not very good about making sure they can get out of there.
Just
It's not, yeah.
huge Jeremy just in the distance, just like.
I think
Dark Souls person is just like, well, that just sounds like a skeleton to me.
Employees there haven't gotten any bonuses or raises in a long time. One person said the last time they got it, they've had one is when they were in air quotes meat times.
Said when they are eating meat, or
when they were alive, presumably. I didn't ask them what they meant. I should have done that. The elevator stopped on us, though I have a sneaking suspicion that was not an accident.
They also don't give their employees, like, because there's this castle that moves around. They don't have maps, or there's a lot of, I don't know if they pay them overtime, but they get lost all the time, and it's just a really confusing place to get through, it seems.
I had to pry this blueprint out of someone. It wasn't fun.
So, how do you think? Are they even able to return the castle to its previous form, or how are you gonna get it back to, to standard?
Yes. What do you recommend?
I think if you return the castle to its previous form, and then we reinstate a new lord, and honestly, at this point, drop the vampire gimmick from it. It would improve conditions there a whole lot.
A beholder stretches some tiny arms and says, "But that is why we usually franchise these places out, so we do not have to manage them ourselves. It sounds like you ask for quite detailed work on improvements here from our side."
Well, I mean, find someone to do it, right?
Yeah, just find one new guy.
Well, I do not currently have a whole castle full of replacement people.
I mean, you don't need a whole castle.
Well, we don't need to replace. If we drop the vampire shtick, we really only just need to dump an enemy.
Drop. Yes, we need to drop the shtick, but we need to make it more vampire, make it less shtick.
Or
anemone.
Or you could make it more
none
vampire.
Of the employees
sure.
are vampires, and they're already struggling with just being told to go find something to pretend to be vampires.
Someone was trying to collect blood with a spoon. Not even a spork. A spoon.
Oh boy.
I am.
And you said you don't want to deal with you don't have a full castle's worth of new workers, and if you don't have a full castle's worth of new workers, you definitely don't have a full castle's worth of new workers who are also vampires.
I am
Well,
Therefore, it would be
Boulder might not have
easier
a whole
to
castle
drop
worth of
the
workers.
vampire thing.
I am not getting very confident impressions about the qualifications of these inhabitants. Are you saying
Oh,
we
they're-
should
Oh no,
keep
no,
them
they're
in?
fine.
No,
The
they're totally
problem is
fine.
the rules and the castle moving around on them.
Well,
How many could
under-
we turn into How many were mortals that could be converted to vampires?
well,
I don't know. I don't know if you can make
There were a lot of
skeletons into vampires.
skeletons. There were gargoyles. I don't know
imps.
about.
I think there was one human there, and I don't know if you can make him a vampire.
well, under what kind of rule do you think these current employees would thrive? You know, we can look on our Rolodex and see what kind of replacement we can find for this intermittent Dark Lord.
How about you ask them? They could do a vote or something.
There's mumbling in between the many large
Yeah.
creatures just like leaning over to each other. Turns out we're playing a game of inspectors where even the power behind the inspectors is not the most just.
Yep.
But I guess it was immediately foreshadowed when we decided what kind of authority this is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think one of them, just after all the consultation, submit your report and include a useful representative of the workers, and we'll decide from there.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Who do we think? Who do we think's the rep? That's not Gueremy.
It's not Gueremy. Maybe it's Benjamin, who didn't do a whole lot, but he seemed real chill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's technically a death right now, so
Yeah,
This is true.
yeah. I think it might be. Benjamin. And you know that would make also sense for maybe like the way to theme the castle as like a castle themed around more like death broadly than like just vampires.
For sure.
I know ghosts were mentioned, like there's bats. Could still get a vampire in there, you know.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we have to just. Are we taking all the? What parts of this proposal are we going to enact? Bird.
I mean, you know, it's in the hands of the inspectors. You know, if we're going to enact it,
Okay,
then
we're just going to do whatever they do. Okay.
yeah, if we're going to enact it, then there are going to be, you know, just a few more sentences, and the game is almost over. Like, you know, the enactment should not be a huge thing.
Yeah.
We can all do it, but like, you know, it's in the hands of inspectors.
Yeah. I think like no more vampire shtick. Put the castle back together in the normal original blueprint way and disable this clockwork shit. And then just have a different boss. And I think, I don't know, that probably solves most of the problems.
Definitely helps a little bit. at the very least. I think the thing maybe is Benjamin is, have Benjamin be kind of a representative to this council for a little bit, and then the whole castle like kind of has a vote on their next Dark Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be Benjamin for all we know, but
Could be, who knows?
Yeah.
I think the one amendment that the council makes, because the Vampire Lord makes a very vehement case for it, is there has to be enough vampires to have like a vampire room. It doesn't have to be the whole castle theme anymore, but they gotta at least maintain. It's a vampire castle. It needs at least one area where vampires are attacking.
yeah, that's fair.
Yep. All right. I hope the dungeon people have better lives.
Well, there's certainly an in-between time where the leadership of Benjamin just leads to an extremely chill phase. It's as if Colin Robinson was everyone's boss.
Oh no.
Like, most of the beings in there are vaguely death themed, or vaguely like spooky themed. Except for Benjamin, who is like in a long sweater, and also doesn't intend to change that. And so, at some point, adventurers come by and they're just like, "No, sorry, we're currently restructuring. It's not happening. Can't come in here." And I don't know what they're doing long term, but for a month or two, they're just having talks about what they're gonna do in the future.
God, now I'm just thinking of Benjamin as looking like Colin Robinson. Fuck.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Horrible.
That's right.
I take everything back. Don't put him in charge.
Okay. No one's clean here. It's fine. Is that it then?
Yeah. Are you all
Yeah.
happy with the outcome of the game? Do you feel everything has been said about what should have happened in the game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we're done with the game part. Do you want to say things that you personally do in the world? Do you want to plug things? Where as if you were the guest on Conan. Your next movie, your current Broadway show.
It's horrifying.
I
don't know. Do we just want to go down the line if we do?
Sure.
All right, then
Yeah.
then I'll start at the top. At me. I earlier this session dropped my game Archive Delve. You can find it on my Twitter at Vetero with a V at the beginning, or on itch.io by looking for Archive Delve. It is also in the raffle if you have given any money on donate.roleplusbond.com. You have a chance to get one of the copies of the game, which again, has been out for like 2.5 hours. Also, the game we just played is also on my itch.
It's a good game.
Nice. It's a good game. Yeah. All right. I'm Sean. I am not found on the internet except in random discords. Find me there if you want me.
It's a good
I hope
way
you
to
have
live
fun
your
listening.
life.
Yep. Go ahead, space.
You can find stuff I make on my itch at spaceafe.itch.io. Just some Beam Saber stuff up now. I hear that's a good game. I hear people like that game here.
And then you can find me on Twitter or itch at Cosmic Kaiju.
Alright, well,
Yeah, and now I
make
think
sure to donate, and I guess we're gonna take a break until the Untitled Ghost game and at the hour.
Untitled Ghost Game is also a good game. I'm
Yeah.
very
True.
excited for it.
yeah, we're actually done. Thank you for hosting, Cole, and please take us out.